The MLB trade deadline is fast approaching and the rumors are heating up. So let's just feed the fire and come up with some more predictions. If you're new here, this is the second iteration of this style of video, and I'll leave a link to the first one in the description. Let's get right into it. Starting off with a juicy one, let's have Blake Snell making his way to Cincinnati. The Reds are blistering hot, and a big-time starter could take this team from a fun young team to dark horse contenders. Second on the list is Jordan Hicks of the Cardinals making his way to Tampa Bay. This just feels like a dude that the Rays could turn into a superstar. Another player that needs a turnaround is Tim Anderson of the Chicago White Sox, and I have him making his way to Seattle. This move would obviously mean Anderson would have to move to second base, where the Mariners need some more consistency. Hopefully Anderson can make that turnaround. In the last video, I had the Red Sox being sellers, but here I have them grabbing Seth Lugo from San Diego Padres. The Red Sox just need pitching across the board, and getting a guy who can start or come from the bullpen would be great. For a great reunion piece, let's have the Guardians picking up Carlos Santana, who does well against lefty. Another unique piece compared to the last video is Justin Verlander, and I have him going to the Giants. Past Logan Webb and Alex Cobb, the Giants starters are a little shaky. While Verlander has struggled in his own right this season, it would be an upgrade over the starters there. Missing out on the big name starters, I had the Diamondbacks going and grabbing Carlos Carrasco from the Mets. Next on the list, I have Yohan Moncada making his way to the Marlins. The Marlins being in contention is not what I had on my bingo card for this season, but here we are, and they're in need of a third baseman. Moving from the NL East to the NL West, I have Cal Finnegan making his way to the Dodgers. Just feels like another reliever grab the Dodgers will make a stud. Next is his teammate Jeimer Candelario making his way to the Minnesota Twins. With some injuries at the position, the Twins will be doing well to grab the third baseman having his best year since 2020. Leaving the AL Central will be White Sox starter Lance Lynn going to the Milwaukee Brewers. Aside from the obvious reasons Lynn should be a Brewer, Lynn is a low-risk, high-upside trade chip that wouldn't have a lot of pressure on him to be the number one guy in Milwaukee. Another starter who would not be sold at the highest price is Jordan Montgomery of the St. Louis Cardinals. I have him going to Baltimore. The Orioles need some consistent starters while also not giving up much of their farm. Moving away from the NL Central, Cody Bellinger would join the Mariners. Ty France has not been good versus righties, and Bellinger would offer a nice platoon option with flexibility to move into the outfield when necessary. The best reliever on the market and possibly in the MLB is joining the Atlanta Braves and Josh Hader. If you look at this team, pitching is one of the few semi-weak points that you can suggest, so let's have the ultra-aggressive GM shoring that one up with one of the best in baseball. Moving to the Giants as a left-handed power bat is Danny fucking Burgess. Another non-big name bat switching hand is CJ Cron to the New York Yankees. Joining Toronto's Blue Jays is Justin Lawrence, an underrated reliever who's even pitching well in Colorado. The Texas Rangers are set to be active at the deadline, and after a great first half of the season, a big underrated move I have them making is for Chris Stratton of the St. Louis Cardinals. A big move that everyone would notice would be for Max Scherzer. In my previous video, I was surprised to see the amount of backlash the aging pitcher got, but his advanced data is still really good, and in the right situation, I think he can make a big turnaround. Moving to Miami, I had the Marlins grabbing Yasmani Grandal. The catcher spot for the Marlins has gotten zero production all year, and they're in search of some juice. Joining Grandal in the move from Chicago to Miami is Keenan Middleton, another underrated guy who could find some value for a bullpen-needy team. Moving from Florida, this time to Tampa Bay, I have Michael Lorenzen. While he was an all-star, I don't think a lot of people have that high of a pedigree for the player. However, with some of his spin rates and movement, this guy just feels like a guy that could become a star for the Tampa Bay Rays. Moving from the NL East to the AL West is ageless wonder David Robertson to the Seattle Mariners. Not necessarily the biggest need for the Mariners, but who wouldn't want a guy with a 2.08 ERA? Making his way to Milwaukee is Brent Rooker, a guy who could platoon with Rowdy Tellez and during the days versus righties could flex into the outfield. The last reliever I have on the move is Scott Barlow to the Baltimore Orioles. Another pitcher on the move is Jack Flaherty on his way to the Atlanta Braves. The pitching for this team has been hampered by injuries and could use another solid guy in there, especially during this injury-riddled time. And for the last move of the video, I have Marcus Stroman making his way to the Los Angeles Dodgers. With a lot of struggles within the rotation to many people's surprise, Dodgers are in need of some help, and who better than the ground ball pitcher from Chicago? And that's going to do it for the video. Let me know your hot takes for the deadline. I'm always down there in the comment section having a conversation with you all. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.